Hello, Igniters of Careers, and welcome to Insights into Ignite. This is Brian Ellington, your host and Chief Learning Officer, and I am joined today, as always, by Mona Covey and the talented Rhonda Watley, your Ignite instructional designers. Today, we're going to be helping you prepare for two, not one, two power sessions. Power Session 3, Find Your Business, and Power Session 4, Win the Seller. We're really excited. We're going to jump right in. I want to share with you, if you've not yet been on the Ignite Trainers Facebook page, that's the Ignite Trainers Facebook page, amazing stuff coming out from all of you who are having wonderful ahas and sharing it on there. Go on there, join if you haven't already, and take a peek at what some of the other market centers are doing. It hopefully will help your game in your market center as you're doing your Ignite classes. So speaking of sharing a little bit, wanted to share the daily 10-4 results. And again, why we do this, we want to give you numbers and energy that you can take back into your classroom to share with your Ignite students about the results that they can expect and the goals that they should be shooting for. So right now we've got 171 market centers. Wow, 171 market centers that are going through Ignite right now. That's awesome. 1,268 cappers in training in the system. What that tells us is maybe not everybody that should be entered into the Daily 10-4 has been entered yet. So if that's the case for your students, make sure to get those entered. Talk to the Market Center leadership about making sure that all the students are in there, including yourself, by the way, as an instructor, so that you can share those results during class. Speaking of results, while you're going through at the beginning of your class and you're running through the results of your My Tracker for your students, here's some results to share with you that we're seeing. 17,000 contacts added, let's just call it 17,000 connections made, 9,188 notes, and 6,452 home previews. Now, when you average that out, what that means right now is we're running at about 4.6 contacts added per capper in training, 4.5 connections made, in other words, phone calls per capper in training, and 2.4 handwritten notes, 1.7 homes preview. That's 4.6 contacts added, 4.5 connections made, phone calls, 2.4 notes, 1.7 home previews. Here's a great script, if you weren't on the last call, that you can use with your students for your next session about your numbers. Assuming that you're not yet at full capacity of 10, 10, 10, 10 for your daily 10-4 goals, here's a great script for your class. What's our goal as a class for the daily 10-4 activities? Is it 100%? Is it 90%? 80, 70? What's our goal as a class for the amount of daily 10-4 activities we're going to do per student? Whatever that goal is, what's the next incremental step from where we are now to where we want to be? If you're at 4.6 contacts added, maybe the next incremental step isn't 10, maybe the next incremental step is 6. Maybe that's something to celebrate for your next class. So what's that next incremental step? And finally, can we as a class commit to that next incremental step? I hope that script helps you just up the game just a notch so that by the time we get to the blowing and going sessions of week 2 and week 3 with Ignite, that they're going to be hitting those daily 10-4 goals. Finally, one last thought before I turn it over. Make sure at your next team meeting, share some of the results that you're seeing from your class with the other agents in the Market Center so that they know that this isn't just a class for new agents, that this is a class for anybody who wants to kick their business into gear. All right, with that, I'm going to turn you over to the capable hands of Rhonda and Mona. Take it away.
All righty, hello, this is Mona Covey with Keller Williams University. And one thing that Brian didn't mention with all those wonderful stats is these numbers are already generating across these people 384 appointments. So is Ignite making a difference? I think so. I think It's making a big difference. So we also have some leaders right now. Just want to mention these guys to stimulate everyone else too, because we all have a little bit of a competitive streak, I'm sure. We've got Dallas Fort Worth, and Lake Travis and Northwest Tampa. They're right there at the top, and they're doing really, really well. So thanks for those guys. Thanks for everyone doing so well. All right, so let's get into the meat of the matter today. We're going to be talking about both sessions 3 and 4. So what we've done with this one, because we're talking about 3 and 4, because you're dealing with Fridays and Mondays and the mission days in between on the weekend, we've combined it. So what we've done is we've taken the common parts. We're going to talk about those first. Then Rhonda and I will talk about each power session, and then we'll wrap it up with the common parts of the power sessions afterwards. So love this quote by Ben Franklin: by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. And that's not what any of us are doing, right?
Oh, hope not.
I can't imagine it. So as usual, you want to download your faculty manual. Remember, that's the one that has all the instructor notes in the margins. We've scripted out, we've given you handy guidelines to follow hopefully to make teaching every single page as simple as can be. And again, the lesson plans help you plan your timing for each class. So be sure and download both of those and prepare. Preparing means reading before, knowing what you're going to prepare, knowing your timing, and being ready to go. Also, download the student mission, and you might think, well, why? It's not my responsibility. The students are doing that. Well, your responsibility as the faculty is to first know what the mission is comprised of, what those students are being asked to do, and then secondly, to debrief those at the beginning of your power session. So it's very important for you to look at their mission for that day. So you're teaching power session 3 or 4, those of you on the webinar today, you want to have mission 3 and mission 4 in front of you. And they're asked to maybe bring something. We're coming up in 4, you'll see that they're actually supposed to be bringing a few things. Mm-hmm. And they're also supposed to be watching videos and some other things. So be sure you know what those are and watch those videos so you're prepared to debrief those.
All right. So there's a lot of expectations for our cappers in training. In Power Session 3, it's all about finding their business. Prospecting and lead generating using multiple methods, connect with potential clients, and obtaining referrals. So that's what Power Session 3 is all about for these cappers. It is really helping them understand how to find business and then what to do once they get that business. Power Session 4 is working with the seller. It's understanding how to use the pre-listing packet effectively, learn and practice their seller listing presentation, and asking for the listing agreement to be signed. So 2 huge power sessions coming up that is really going to set the stage for their success.
And just one other thing about Power Session 3 and 4, these are really about lead generation in a heavy way. So just keep in mind, remember that we're building a database of at least 200 new contacts in this Ignite course, and lead generation is paramount to that. All right, so in each power session, as you know, we come upon the action reveal. And whether this is your first session of Ignite, say somebody else has taught 1 and 2 and you're coming in at 3, it's just as important that you do these action reveals. So first off, like I said, you debrief all the parts of the mission. The next one is you're going to ask every person, every one of your cappers, to report out on their daily 10-4. Now this is really easy to do if you just pull up the My Tracker and put it on the screen in your classroom, because you can see by name how everybody's doing. Or you can ask people to report out and you can write it down. But again, that kind of visual reporting is very motivating. And then finally, those real play calls, which our cappers in training don't know about real play, but they are truly our lead generation calls. And you know, it's been really fun for Rhonda and I to see on Facebook that people are making calls. I love it when we see photographs of people making calls, and then they're actually setting appointments.
Yeah.
It's really, really awesome. Just already, week 1. So keep that up.
I mean, over 300 appointments set already. That's huge.
That's absolutely huge. Just keep reminding them that the calls are their money-making activities.
All right, so this is going to bring us to our first poll. So let me get that up on the screen for y'all. What I'm interested to know is what percentage of your cappers in training are completing their daily 10-4s? So here we go. You now have the ability to vote. Please be honest. We're just curious how this is going for you guys and completing their daily 10-4s during class and during the mission days.
Right. And when Rhonda said be honest, that's because we know that it's hard to for these people to develop this habit and get into this habit right away.
All right, we'll give it 5 seconds and I'll close this poll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I know it was really quick, 5 seconds. All right, let's close and let's share. All right, so it looks like the majority, 50%, say roughly 26 to 50%. So we're a little bit under the 50% mark for the majority. So hopefully as instructors, as mentors, as coaches, setting the example for your cappers in training, get them making these daily 10-4s, making the calls, writing the notes, previewing these homes. It is critical, as you know as well as I do, to the success of their business. All right, because the first poll was so much fun. Let's do another one. I love polls. Okay, hold on. Oh, the tide. All right, so here's our next poll. Oh, I didn't.
We're looking for it.
Okay, here we go. Assuming referrals are markers for success, making lead generation calls, what percentage of your cappers in training have received at least one referral? I mean, how exciting is that? Can you remember back to your first referral? Somebody going, you know, I know this wonderful lady named Mona, and she's going to be a great real estate agent for you. Let me give you her number. All right, so we'll give it a couple seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll close it and let's share. All right, so it looks like we've got people getting referrals. I like it. But I know we're a little early in class. Hopefully these numbers will continue to climb, but definitely want to help them understand and how to ask for that referral.
Always.
Because remember, that asking for that referral should be part of every call they make every single time. All right, so let's move on. Power session 3. All right, so remember, there's always get your head in the game. This is all about the mindset. So in this power session, it's the mindset around lead generation. We start by asking questions that are going to lead to a discussion. These questions are designed to have the cappers think about how and where to lead generate. You know, there's some obvious ideas out there on how to lead generate, but really what we're hoping these discussions bring to the surface are some not so obvious ways to lead generate. The successes, the failures in lead generation, that's important. It's important to learn that as well. So as you can see on screen, John Davis, our president, sums it up with this quote: "Success leaves clues. Agents who take Ignite achieve 71% more contacts, 65% more calls, and 88% more previews." I think they're pretty impressive numbers. They grow their market share and create opportunities, and that is what you are helping them do by teaching these classes.
Once again, Rhonda, it really stresses the importance of what you're doing here and the value that you're providing these cappers, these people, a lot of which are just starting out in this new career, and they're excited, and you know, they want to be successful. And you're right there helping them, motivating them, supporting them, you know, congratulating with them and all those things, and sweating it out with them probably.
Absolutely.
All right, this session is all about this part, the make it happen, which is really the meat of Power Session 3. Like I said, it's all about lead generation. And so the message here, loud and clear, is lead generation is job one. You know, Gary Keller says you're really in two businesses. You're not really in the real estate business. You're in the lead generation business. So it's really like it's your number one job. So it's really important to have the students understand this part of this funnel here is that they need to have lots of leads. It's not just one or two that leads to appointments. And you all know that, you're experienced agents. And then it takes a certain large number of appointments to actually get an agreement signed, honestly. And then finally, for all those agreements, they don't all end in a contract signed. So getting them to a contract, and then finally they're going to get paid. And I think if you lay that timeline and that kind of perspective out for them, it'll really help them understand why lead generation is so important. Okay. And also in the prospecting opportunities, this is where we're going to start here with the sphere of influence. Everybody has one. They may not know that term, but you're going to be orienting them to it. So you're going to have your cappers in training write down as many names as they can for each category. And it's in the book in your manual on page 24. And you can actually have a contest. You could time this and see who gets the most fastest or something like, make it kind of fun. We've provided categories to get them started, of course, but tell them they're not restrained only to those categories. And then there's also going to be a part about prospecting with the social media aspect. And in this, we actually have an activity where the cappers in training are going to pair up and they're going to post to social media in the classroom. So they do it on their phones, on their laptops, on their tablets.
All right. And as we keep stressing, they need to become a lead generation machine. That is their way to success. We discuss time blocking, making commitments to prospecting, faithfully time block to do their 3 hours of lead generation every day, and their business will succeed. You will need to help some new agents get over their fears. For those of you who may be teaching the very first class, maybe you're coming in at Power Session 3, there will be some people who are still afraid to make the calls. Help them through that. It's almost like pulling off that Band-Aid. It's got to be done. Successful agents just found ways to quickly get beyond the reluctance and get comfortable with the call. Their end goal was more important than their fears. Wonderful quote here by Gary Keller: "My failure of fear was greater than my fear of lead generating." Absolutely, ask him, do you want to eat? So, yeah. And of course it takes purposeful practice over time to grow in any area. So again, it's all about practicing and developing these habits. So in Power Session 4, again, the getting your head in the game, the mindset here is working with the seller. Big power session here. Have the cappers listen to a mock call from Chris Heller. Again, we're going to start by asking questions that will lead to a discussion, and the questions are designed to have the cappers think about how and where they will lead generate and then work with those sellers at the same time.
All right, then in making it happen, again, the meat of this session, it's working with sellers. We're learning to pre-qualify the sellers and by understanding their motivation, positioning themselves as the experts. And this is where you can really help them, because they might say, well, I'm so new to the business, I'm not sure I'm an expert. There are scripts around that will help. And of course, the importance of winning the listing. And again, in this market, they may be up against other agents competing for that same listing, and giving them the tools that will help them actually win this listing. And then, all important, pricing the home correctly. And pricing the home correctly means having it sell for the most amount of time in the shortest time frame, of course, to the satisfaction of the seller. But again, what determines price? It's the market. So there's a whole lesson about that in there as well. And properly setting the seller expectations to give them the greatest possible customer experience, so that they will use that capper in training again and refer that capper in training.
And remember, while you're having all these discussions, add your experience to these discussions. That's why you have been asked to teach this particular class. In this Make It Happen, this section happens to be very heavy on teaching. As Mona mentioned, we're going to talk about pre-qualifying the seller, how to prepare the listing appointment to give them insight into the mindset of the seller, how to use the pre-listing packet to position them as a real estate expert of choice. The entire pre-list packet is included in this power session. For those of you who have not printed this out yet, this one's a big one. Go over the entire pre-list packet and work with the cappers in training so they understand the purpose and importance of the pre-list packet. You're going to focus on how to conduct the listing appointment that will win the seller. and how to use the listing presentation to convince a seller to list with them. The entire listing presentation is also included in this power session. I'm going to ask you to go over the entire presentation and work with the cappers in training so they understand the purpose and importance of the listing presentation. You will see on the listing presentation that there are notes and scripts that the cappers in training can use during their presentation. It is very well indicated on and inside both the student and instructor manual when you're in the listing presentation section. There is one activity in this section, but it's a big one. They're going to practice their listing presentations. So break them up into groups of 2s, have them take turns practicing the entire listing presentation. This is a long activity. During this activity, please circulate through the room. When this activity is going on, if you're able to recruit another agent to come in and help you circulate through the room, that is a great thing to do. Listen to what they're telling each other. Help them work through maybe some difficult areas or, an objection that comes up. This is where, practice, practice, practice. This is just the first of the listing presentation practicing that we're going to be doing.
And Rhonda, in addition to that, Rhonda mentioned that the pre-list packet and the listing presentation are in this power session, and that is indeed correct. They are also as independent downloads on the home base. So for those of you that used to get your listing presentation or your pre-list off eEdge, you might have remembered that it was a little bit challenging. What we've done is we've pulled it off of eEdge, we've edited it down to a more manageable, what we call an Ignite version, with the scripts in it already. So we have an agent version and a customer version, if you will. So, and your students are asked to bring copies of those. They're told to do that in their mission. So just be aware of that as well.
Absolutely, and there's one video during this section. It is Bruce Hardy's listing presentation. Definitely important for them to take a look at, see how he does it. There's scripts right on the slides and everything like that for them.
And finally, back to the common parts of the power sessions. This is the wrap-up of topics and activities. Again, it is just as important as the actual activities of making it happen. So first of all, you're going to review the action plan with the cappers in training, and that's for what they need to do to stay on track and to stay productive. You're going to review the mission for the next class as it's shown. There's a copy of it in there. They should and remind them to review and download their mission from the home page. And remember that the cappers in training every time are preparing a call list for the next power session, and we always give them a particular topic area or a category of callers to list, or people to call, sorry. For session 3, they're going to be looking for sale by owner opportunities to call, so you might prepare them to have them drive around and find some for sale by owner signs and jot those down and that kind of thing. And for Power Session 4, they're going to be looking for those expired listings, withdrawn listings, and of course they can add any referrals to those call lists. So give them any ideas, any pointers that you have for finding those kind of names to call. The recall and remember, they'll be going over what they just learned in a quiz, and again, make that sort of fun. And then the ahas to achievement is the wrap-up, is the tying together that get your head in the game mindset at the beginning that Rhonda told you, that John Davis quote. So the ahas to achievement take them through how was your mindset at the beginning, now how's your mindset at the end. And finally, enhance your learning. That's the extra credit, extra additional resources made available to them. And just check them out. There's extra videos, there's tools, there's links, there's all kinds of goodies in there.
And as always, we have our Ignite evaluation form. These are very important, so please make sure you have your cappers in training fill out the evaluation form for each power session, because there's really good feedback here for the instructors and for us, the KWU, for the materials. So we really look forward to getting this feedback. And then at the end of every power session is our suggestions and corrections form. Some people have already sent me some, and I appreciate that. If you have any suggestions or see any corrections that need to be made, please let me know. We enjoy getting these. We're always looking for ways to make this the best training that it can possibly be.
When you need help, just give us a call. Got the numbers here. We've got tech support if you have particular ones about MyTracker or any of that. And then do join that Facebook Ignite Trainers. Everybody should be on that. It is at KW Ignite. And it is a closed group, but you'll be accepted into that group very quickly. A couple comments right at the very end I'd like to make is a lot of people are asking about the instructions for non-KW agents in Ignite. We are just now today posting a list of all the videos with links, live links on it, that you will be able to give those non-KW people so they won't be left out of the videos. So we do have that for you. That's going to be coming. Watch for that on the home base. And then finally, we do have some people having difficulty with the MyTracker. And we're always, Rhonda and I are here to help. You can email us, call this number. We will get back with you. We are working through a few things. The good news is MyTracker works really, really well. So, you know, a lot of times we can solve your problem quite easily.
All right. So our next faculty webinar will be Tuesday, January 19th at 2:30 Central Time. So we'll talk to you all then, and we'll be talking about Power Session 5 during that webinar. But I'd like to say we have a couple minutes left. If anyone has any questions, please go ahead and type them into our question box. We will be happy to take care of them. If I take a look and review at the questions that we have been answering along the way, a lot of them do deal with MyTracker, as Mona mentioned. I'm curious, how are you guys doing finding materials on the home base? Does it seem to be easy enough to navigate and make your way through? Patty, yes, this webinar will be uploaded to the faculty webinar section. We have the wonderful IT team takes care of that for us. So as soon as this is done, I send it right over to them, and they will have that up as soon as they can.
I missed the first, Richie is asking about another recording from the first session. Yes, Richie, those are already posted on the home base under faculty webinars. There's a question about using MyTracker after Ignite. Yes, there is no close, there's no closed end on MyTracker, so the students can keep using it as long as they want.
Patty, how can I get more than the top 5 cappers in training showing up on my leader report?
Oh, that's a MyTracker issue. I have another person who has a similar problem. So Patty, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to give you my email. It's mona.covey@kw.com. Anyone who's having MyTracker, please contact me and we'll resolve it.
Christopher, your question about the webinar. So since today's webinar will precede both Power Session 3 and Power Session 4, we covered both Power Sessions. So we covered Power Session 3,
Early.
Find Your Business First, and then we covered Power Session 4, Working with Sellers.
Can't find the database spreadsheet.
The database spreadsheet. So the database spreadsheet is located in the student toolkit. It is also located inside the manual. You can pull it from either section. For those of you who are on the Ignite Facebook page, the Ignite Trainers Facebook page, it happens to be also loaded there under Forms, so you can download it from there as well.
You know, that brings up a good point too. On the Ignite Trainers page, there is a files category, and we have been loading a lot of things to make things, you know, quick and easy for people to access. So again, check there. And I also want to thank all the people who have been responding to others on the Ignite Trainers and helping each other. It's just been a wonderful community of support.
Absolutely. If you put a question out there, it will be answered. Or just, hey, how's everybody doing? You know, I saw on there somebody was asking how everybody was doing with their mission days. Lots of replies. So definitely get in there and check that out. All right, well, I think we've come to the end of our webinar. Again, thank you all very much for attending. Thank you for participating. Good luck with Power Sessions 3 and Power Sessions 4. And for those of you who will be back, we'll be talking to you on Tuesday. Everybody have a wonderful weekend.